Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something that sounds almost too good to be true, but stick with me, because the math is surprisingly simple. We're talking about a strategy to potentially turn 1,000 pounds into 100,000 pounds. Now, before you click away thinking this is some get-rich-quick scheme, let me be very clear. This is not financial advice, and it's not a guarantee. This is a thought experiment. A strategic framework based on the pure, undeniable power of numbers. It requires patience, discipline, and a solid understanding of risk. So if you're ready to explore the math behind a 100x journey, grab a notepad and let's get into it. So, how do you turn 1,000 into 100,000? That's a 100x return. It sounds massive, intimidating even. If you were trying to do that with a single investment, you'd likely have to take on an insane amount of risk. Essentially gambling on a lottery ticket. But what if we break it down? What if instead of one giant leap, we take a series of smaller, more manageable steps? This is the core of our strategy. Instead of looking for a single 100x opportunity, we're going to find a way to double our money just 7 times. Let's do the math together. 1,000 doubled is 2,000. 2,000 doubled is 4,000. 4,000 doubled is 8,000. Then 16,000, 32,000, 64,000, and on the 7th double, we hit 128,000 pounds. Suddenly, that daunting 100x goal becomes a mission to find just 7 successful doubles. This reframes the problem completely. It shifts our focus from finding that 1 in a million moonshot to identifying opportunities with the potential to return 100%. A 100% return is still very difficult. Don't get me wrong, but it's a much more grounded and researchable goal than a 10,000% return. This is the power of compounding in action. Each time you succeed, your capital base for the next step grows and the gains become exponentially larger. The first step, turning 1,000 pounds into 2,000 pounds, feels significant. But the final step, turning 64,000 pounds into 128,000 pounds, that's where the real magic happens, and it's all built on the foundation of those earlier, smaller wins. So, where do we find these doubles? This is where strategy, research, and skill come into play. There are several avenues you could explore. For some, it might be in the stock market, specifically looking at small cap or growth stocks. These are smaller companies with high growth potential. They are riskier than blue chip stocks, but they also offer a higher potential for returns. Finding a company that you believe can double its value requires deep dive research into its financials, its management team, its industry, and its competitive advantage. You're not just buying a ticker symbol. You're investing in a business you believe will thrive. This isn't about day trading or reacting to market noise. It's about patient, value-based investing. Another area people look to is the world of digital assets like cryptocurrencies. Now, this space is notoriously volatile, and you can lose your money just as quickly as you can make it. But the principle remains the same. Instead of blindly throwing money at the latest trending coin, you would apply the same rigorous research. What problem does this project solve? Who is the team behind it? What is its tokenomics? Is there a genuine community and use case? The goal is to find projects with solid fundamentals that are potentially undervalued, not just to ride a hype wave. Again, the risk here is extremely high, but it's an area where 100% returns are not unheard of for those who do their homework and get in at the right time. But please be incredibly careful in this space. But let's step away from traditional markets for a moment. This doubling strategy isn't just for investing. It can be applied to business, side hustles, or even flipping. Let's say you take your initial 1,000 pounds and you invest it in a product you can buy low and sell high. Maybe it's limited edition sneakers, vintage furniture, or electronics. You buy 1,000 pounds worth of inventory. Your goal is to sell it all for 2,000 pounds. That's your first double. It requires work, marketing, and understanding your market. Once you have that 2,000 pounds, you don't spend it. You reinvest it. You buy 2,000 pounds worth of inventory and aim to sell it for 4,000 pounds. That's your second double. This is an active, hands-on approach. You are directly in control of your outcomes. Each cycle teaches you more about your products, your customers, and your process, making the next double a little bit easier. The most crucial part of this entire strategy is discipline. Specifically, the discipline to reinvest your profits. When you make that first double and turn 1,000 pounds into 2,000 pounds, the temptation to cash out that 1,000 pounds profit and treat yourself is huge. And you know what? You've earned it. But if you do that, you're back at square one. The magic of compounding is completely lost. To make this strategy work, you must have the mindset that for these 7 stages, the entire amount is your working capital. The 2,000 pounds belongs to the project. The 4,000 pounds belongs to the project. You only get to enjoy the full fruits of your labor after that final double. This requires a level of delayed gratification that most people struggle with, and it's what separates those who see exponential growth from those who stay on a linear path. Let's also talk about risk management because this is non-negotiable. At no point should you ever be risking money you cannot afford to lose. That initial 1,000 pounds should be capital you are fully prepared to see go to zero. As you progress, the stakes get higher. Losing 16,000 pounds hurts a lot more than losing 1,000 pounds. So how do you manage this? One way is to de-risk as you go. For example, after your third double, when your 1,000 pounds has become 8,000 pounds, you might decide to pull out your original 1,000 pound stake. Now, you're only playing with house money. Everything from this point forward is pure profit. Another key aspect is time. How long does this take? This is the $1 million, or rather, the 100,000 pound question. There is no set timeline. Finding one double could take you a year. Finding the next might take 2 years, or it might take 6 months. It depends entirely on the opportunities you find and the market conditions. Someone investing in a bull market might achieve this much faster than someone in a bear market. The person running a side hustle might be limited by the amount of free time they have. The important thing is not to rush. Rushing leads to bad decisions. Patience is your greatest ally. Think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. Each stage is a checkpoint. Your job is to focus only on getting to the next checkpoint safely and successfully. Let's recap the core concept. The goal, 1,000 pounds to 100,000 pounds. The method, don't look for a 100x return. Look for 7 2x returns or doubles. The math, 1,000 pounds gives 2,000 pounds, gives 4,000 pounds, gives 8,000 pounds, gives 16,000 pounds, gives 32,000 pounds, gives 64,000 pounds, gives pound. 128K. The arenas for finding these doubles could be growth stocks, digital assets, business ventures, or flipping, anything where you can apply skill and research to find an undervalued opportunity. The rules, you must have the discipline to reinvest all your profits. You must practice smart risk management, like taking your initial stake off the table. And you must be patient, understanding that this is a long-term strategy, not an overnight success story. This framework is about breaking down an overwhelming goal into a series of achievable steps. This strategy is more of a mindset than a rigid set of instructions. It's about thinking exponentially. It's about understanding the power of compounding and having the discipline to let it work its magic. It's a powerful mental model that you can apply to many areas of life, not just finance. So, I challenge you to think about it. What could be your first double? What skills or knowledge do you have that could help you find that 100% return? It all starts with that first step, turning 1,000 into 2. If you can figure that out and have the discipline to repeat the process, the simple math of compounding can lead to some truly extraordinary results. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope this gave you a new way to think about building wealth and tackling huge goals. If you found this interesting or helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And for more content on strategy and unconventional thinking, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.